most of the games are happening at, what, 7:30?
I think on Saturday they don't have any scheduled times yet.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I mean, I guess it's like a competition thing. Other baseball will do it where they try and make everyone play at the same time. So I don't know.
Okay. No. Oh shoot! I actually forgot today was Taco Tuesday.
They say every vote counts. Your vote would not have mattered. Like it was
lopsided.
Yeah, like DeRozan had 1,250 plus votes. The nearest guy was 476. So the nearest guy to that was 200 on Trae Young. Like DeRozan, and the thing is, like Levine might not play, so like if you get a discount on his points, heck, with the Levine being out,
Right. Is that why they voted so heavily?
I don't know. It was posted real fast.
Wow. And what did they have to choose from between DeRozan and Trae Young? Was it just those two they offered?
No. There were some good other options out there, right? Like people just went with the house program.
Yeah, I don't want Siakam.
Really? Siakam?
I mean, it's the Hawks. The Hawks. Yeah.
It's the Hawks. Or we used to pitch against the Braves. Like, I remember one time he was playing John Neese against the Braves. And I was like, dude, you can't throw John Neese. He goes, fam, it's the Braves. And then, like, it worked. I was like, whatever.
You gotta keep that going.
Just saying, it's the Orioles.
Don't think about it twice about it.
Here, what's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. It feels like a Monday, but man, it's a recharged 3-day weekend. WrestleMania weekend. We had a Monday off. A lot of you guys watching college last night, man. I was able to relax a little bit, recharge, play some MLB The Show 22. Didn't get a single game that went start to finish. Shout out to the freeze off gang here. But hey, it's all good. We are getting cranked up for the final week of the NBA regular season. And in this PrizePicks show, brought to you by OddsJam, we are going to take a look at tonight's slate. We're going to go for hopefully about an hour, maybe a couple minutes over, trying to get updated on everything following Josh's first look video this morning, see what lines have developed, what has not developed, what news has popped up, and then following this show, we'll do the DFS show. We'll bring Raj in, and of course, our boy Josh is going to hang around, keep an eye on the prop lines, and get you guys updated. So even if you don't play DFS, you're just in it for the prop, the information will still be coming at you for the next 2-3 hours, and Josh will be around keeping an eye on all things prop. Shout out to the live chat, to Parker Douglas, Rick Anderson, Sean Drake says, let's go Jayhawks. Rock Chalk? Devontae Graham? Oh, yeah, friend of the channel. What up, Chris Smith? Says now it's going to be DeRozan, 24.5 points. Yeah, the taco, huh? Skimmer in the chat. Look at all these G's, man. I appreciate that. Yo, Corey with the G. Let's go, Corey. Donnie Boone. Lorenza. EB. What's up, chat, man? Bringing the vibes high, mighty, and early. Hopefully, it just keeps on coming, and we can get a really solid start to the final week of the NBA regular season. Josh, it's a bittersweet time, right? It's a bittersweet time because there's a lot of edge in the final week, but
yeah, yeah. No, you could definitely finish strong, go out with the bang, but it
I just opened a bang. That was.
yeah,
Did you?
yeah, look at
You.
that. I'm drinking one as well. Yeah, oh man, I'm sad. I mean, because we were just starting to, get in the routine and groove of, getting this content out, but baseball coming around. I guess it's a good time to switch things up.
So we just got LeBron James ruled out.
Wow.
Lakers dunzo. Lakers are dunzo.
So I mean, I imagine AD. Why play him?
I mean, technically they're not mathematically out. I think if they lose and the Spurs win, they're out.
Yeah, it's like a 1% chance, right?
Is it really that low? I feel like, I mean,
That's
yeah,
a
I guess
lot.
considering the Spurs match. Spurs without DeJounte, hey, man, chip in a chair. But yes, Lakers' hopes down to a thread here. Let's get everybody caught up on the Taco Tuesday situation, shall we? PrizePicks offered Harden, DeRozan, Siakam, Cat, Garland, Trae Young, LaMelo Ball, Chris Middleton. They spelled Chris wrong. And it was not close. DeRozan won in a landslide. People are still voting for this, by the way. Like, what? There's literally a new vote thing up. Anyway, so DeRozan wins that. Now we're voting on what to discount. We have 7 minutes left of that, if I'm reading this right. It's 7,000 or first to or 7 minutes or first to 1,000 votes, and right now points is gonna win. It's either PRA or points. Points is about doubled here, so I guess we might as well get it over with. So DeRozan will likely have a taco today for 24.5 points as his prop line. And on top of that, Zach LaVine was downgraded to questionable. Now, he has played through some Q tags as of late, so it doesn't necessarily mean he's out, but we always brace for impact when a guy gets midday Q. So that's what we're dealing with on the first taco. And you guys know the second taco takes to Twitter. So if you guys want to be part of that, I just lost everything. There we go. Make sure you're on Twitter and get signed up. What button is it? If I mouse over too far, it literally minimizes everything I have open. And it does this when I'm off air too. I'm like, what the heck? Anyway, what up, Steve? What up, RC Player? I was in an endless loop of Manscaped ads. Oof. Hey, man, some of these ads are tailored to you. Government listening through your phone. I don't know if you've... I don't know if you said some stuff and Google's like, yeah, I got you, bro. What up, Mike? Hey, Doronzo. Look at all these... Yo, seeing all these members in the chat, like channel members, like that's cool. Because it's like we haven't really carried members like this ever. So now to see all these cool different colored G's in chat, and my boy Hanzo with the panda, we're gonna see. I think the year one is the purple panda. We're gonna see that one soon. So that would be a lot of fun. You know what? I opened up all these tabs. I never opened up PrizePicks, so let's go ahead and do that. Hey, did I mention this show brought to you by OddsJam? Shout out to OddsJam. If you guys are not on OddsJam, they have an incredible companion tool to odds hunting, but they also just have great tools to help you sports bet. Some of you guys that are playing strictly on PrizePicks but also have access to legal sports betting, man, you might be doing it wrong if I'm being honest. So if you've ever get on a streak where you're hitting a lot of 3 or 4 power plays and you're like, man, I'm getting all my plays right. Well, hey, if you're hitting 3 or 4 consistently, you're probably profitable in the player prop betting streets. And if you have access to those books, you should be betting on those books. So I definitely recommend trying OddsJam. There's some more evergreen OddsJam content coming to the channel. I'm going to be telling you about how to use arbitrage betting for literally free money as long as you have a couple different accounts. So what I like to do on OddsJam is I like to pull up this page, the sports drop-down NBA. It's going to give me every game on the docket, and then as I go into the different games, for instance, tonight the Nets and the Rockets, it's going to allow me to conveniently check out what's up to 50 different sports books list as a prop, and I can look at the lines on it to see if the line's going to be going up or down, or if it's at a neutral spot. And I like to compare that to what PrizePicks is doing. We'll do that a couple times throughout this stream. And then, of course, they have other stuff like bet trackers and calculators and stuff like that. So shout out to OddsJam sponsoring the show, keeping this content free for you guys every day. But let's get down to business. We got to open up the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, and we got to talk some basketball, talk some props. Tonight, the 76ers take on the Indiana Pacers. We got a 234.5 total, and this one has a double-digit spread of 11.5, and that 11.5 is open to interpretation. We've seen Philly not necessarily smoke teams, and we've seen Tyrese Halliburton kind of fight to the bitter end. There is nothing officially that I got on the injury report for the 76ers. Myself and Josh were speculating before the game or before the show whether or not maybe the Sixers would try and rest Harden or Embiid down the stretch here. But right now, nothing on the injury report, and is part of the first two games at Slate Lock. A little bit more for DFS, but nonetheless, it is a super solid matchup for everyone involved. Josh, do we have any props on the Sixers yet? Because this was part of your focal points on this morning's First Look video.
Yeah.
We were talking about Embiid, especially maybe getting into some first half props, and then maybe some Halliburton assist full game stuff.
Yeah, so we don't have any Pacer props yet, but we do have a majority of the Sixers props. So Embiid is listed at 58 fantasy points full game, and his fantasy first half is at, let's see if they juiced it. They did. Okay, so it's at 30. So you're paying a 2 fantasy point tax on the first half prop. That's high, but it's the Pacers.
Yeah.
But I mean, his points are right in line with his first half points are right in line with his full game points. I mean, he could easily, get that in two quarters in the first half with the amount of times he's probably going to go the free throw line. I mean, the Pacers are, top 5 in fouls. Yeah, I mean, what did he have against the Cavs last game? Like 17 free throws made. I don't remember how many he took total. It was like 17 out of like 20 or something like that. It was crazy. Yeah, so I'm debating now with this taxing on the first half props for Embiid. Do we roll the dice and just say, do we go full game, or do we even just consider his free throw prop at 9.5? Like I said, with the Pacers fouling so much, although I mean with the 9.5 free throw prop, although Embiid is different with fouls, you're gonna want to get at least 3.5 to close to 4 quarters. But one thing I liked also, if that's too much, if that's too steep for your liking, Tobias Harris has been getting some second quarter run in the beginning of the second quarter with Harden and Embiid on the bench, and he runs the unit with Maxey. And it seems like he tends to rack up some points during that 4 minute to 5 minute stretch.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe his 7.5 point, because I doubt they tax that. Let's see. So he's at 16.5 for full game. His first half, they did bump it up. Okay, so 18.5. Okay, it looks like that's because they bumped up his full game 0.2. It was at 7.5 last night. That's still doable. But the problem is that the rotation is so inconsistent and different game to game because they don't know what they want to run, and they're like just basically practicing. So sometimes you'll get that rotation where it's just him and Maxey. Sometimes Harden will play the entire second quarter. So it is a little bit dicey in that sense. But I do like Harden and Embiid's probably free throw props, and I'm gonna hold off and think about the first half. That's really steep, 30, but it's the Pacers, man. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I'm looking at the last couple games for Tobias Harris rotation. I mean, I guess we seem to have like this underlying skepticism about some of this stuff. First of all, it's a 234 total. That's check one on the checklist of box marks. But Is it, are you worried about this game staying competitive? It is the Pacers, who have absolutely nothing to play for. So that is in the back of my mind. I will say, looking at the last couple games for Tobias Harris, looking for this couple of minutes
Yeah.
without Joel Embiid and James Harden. If you go back to that Hornets game, we actually saw Tobias Harris and Maxey kind of be part of the cleanup. Not I'm saying the cleanup crew, but part of the nail in the coffin crew, where
Huh.
Maxey and Harris came out to close the game, and then instead of turning it back to Embiid and James Harden, they went with Yang, Korkmaz, Milton, Paul Reed, those guys. So maybe even if it did get lopsided, Tobias and Maxey would still have first dibs at coming in the ninth inning, closing it, and then handing the ball over
Yeah.
to the full bullpen here, the
Yeah.
bullpen. So I don't know, some baseball lingo to get us get started for the week.
No,
But
that's a good lookout. I mean, yeah. I mean, their props are so much lower than Embiid and Harden's in this matchup. So you are going to get a discount and hopefully a little more playing time. But I mean, the Pacers, they do surprise us at times. Halliburton, I mean, he went off in that Celtics game. We thought the Celtics were going to absolutely stomp them, and I believe that game stayed close to the end, right? I mean, I think he went for 30 real points plus.
yeah, Halliburton is very talented. He just came out. He's coming off a ridiculous amount of assists per turnover ratio. There are no props for the Pacers up right now.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Halliburton, we're almost always looking at assist or that double prop they gave us
Yeah.
last game randomly.
Yep.
Looking at Vegas, there is no lines on the Pacers. Did
What are they
anyone?
waiting on? Are they really waiting on Brogdon? We know he's not going to play.
I assume that's the holdup here. Looking at I don't have any other like live news here, so I gotta assume that is the case. So with that in mind, we're just looking for what, less than 10 assists for Tyrese Halliburton right now.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Or
then
if it's at 10, maybe it's double double. But if they don't give us a double double, maybe I mean maybe it's fantasy point if you wanna play Embiid and Harden's full game props, it would make sense.
All right, let's take some notes here. Seems like we don't have any like 5-star high confidence plays from the Sixer sides right now.
We did, yeah, we did before they really juiced it since last night.
So I'm gonna jot down Tyrese Halliburton assist. I'm also gonna put in the shop. I would say Embiid lines, but yeah, there's nothing that we want to sink our teeth in. Even the fantasy point prop on the full game, I'm not getting that drastic of an overshot. Usually my projections will be aggressively higher than a lot of their guys, and for Embiid, I'm within 5. So within 5 at 60, that's a sweat. But it
So
is a high total
yeah,
here. Also, I would say if they live up to this 234 total, we probably look at Harden assists to be decently targetable.
more so than his free throws.
Nine and a
I mean,
half for his.
both him and Embiid, like they could both clear the free throws in this matchup.
I would say I have a 10-point gap on fantasy points for Harden versus mine.
Okay.
So maybe I look at that, and it is a faster. I don't want to say faster. It's really not. It's a positive matchup for everything that is a Harden or Embiid strength. So I'm gonna asterisk Harden FPS, and the pushback is the game stay close, right? Like
Yeah.
it's open for interpretation. Let's get caught up in chat. Chat, what do you guys got on this one? Are you guys as like stumped here? Because I definitely thought we had a lot more 76ers interest this morning before things. And if maybe if Thibault ends up getting one of those block and steal props, we might keep an eye on that. What's Durant's fantasy prop at? I haven't looked at it yet. What up, Mike Haverman? What up, Clarence? What up, Kiefer? Thomas Pruitt in the chat says, what's up? 1 of 5 flex last night. Let's keep it going. Let's go, baby. What up, Alex? Hiccup. Eric in the chat. JF, could you guys look into this so I can see if I'm crazy? A 4-pick 3-point over prop. I want to see who you would pick for 4. That's a lot to take in at one time. Give me a second to process this. First of all, if they post Jalen Green, anything under, 63 points, I'll probably take the over. No, I'm just kidding. Kyrie at 3.5 against Houston, that makes sense. Fast-paced matchup. They don't have a whole lot for threes right now. They have Mitchell against Memphis. I probably don't want that. Man, I don't know that there's 4 right now, bro. But if the slate
For what?
develops,
What was the
maybe
question?
4 3-point props. Keldon Johnson and Kyrie are 2 that I'm intrigued with, but I'm not. And I guess Porzingis against Minnesota. Like, if you're forcing me to grab these, right? If you're forcing me to grab these,
Is he talking about from sports books or
I
PrizePicks?
assumed he was talking about grabbing 4 from just what's on the board right now. Let's see.
Uh,
Could you guys look into this so I can see if I'm crazy? A 4-pick 3-point over prop. I want to see who you would pick
oh,
for 4. I swear it's hitting Tobias, Kyrie. Oh, okay. So he's offering Tobias, Kyrie, Keldon, Trey. So I'm with you on Kyrie and Keldon. Trey's fine. He'll chuck from wherever. Tobias over 1.5 against the Pacers. Maybe. I don't have no pushback against the Pacers, but the Pacers are just,
I like Garland too. Magic just bleed threes because teams just chuck it on him.
yeah. All right, let's get back into the game by game JF. I'm just kidding. Yeah, what up, AO? What up, Corey? My volume is low? Don't tell me that. Really? I had a feeling that maybe if I is it really that low? Only one person complained about it. Do I sound fine to you, Josh?
Mm-hmm.
I do? Okay.
Yeah.
Sound, master volume.
Sound good.
Microphone. Manage sound devices. Chat, anybody else think I sound low? Let me see. Am I spiking? A little bit, but not crazily. Lister. What up, Lister? Do you think the Nets game is going to go over the total points? It's usually pretty high for a Rockets game. So, I don't know. Usually, if you're going to bet overs on Rockets games, you're not going to get like a great discount. But we saw in that T-Wolves game a couple times now. They can definitely drop 2 games worth of points. All right, real quick. Cavs at the Mavs. 8.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Cavs. The Magic have ruled out Cole Anthony, Wendell Carter, Gary Harris, Admiral Schofield. I think we've all consensusly put the Magic on the DNP list for prop betting and borderline for DFS. So though that's up for debate. Markelle Fultz will be fun if we can get him into more minutes here, but for the most part, I'm looking at the Cavs. I'm more so looking at Darius Garland. We've been keying in on his assist prop, and then with this matchup being projected to be a slow pace grind, the fact that it's a single-digit point spread right now is kind of intriguing. But we've been talking about how this Cavs defense is not what it once was this season. They have been amongst the worst in the league when it comes to defensive efficiency. Your volume was definitely under Josh. Okay, so
I turned mine down.
all right. And then when you talk, I'll just see where you're spiking at, and I can just
Yeah,
adjust
yeah.
it. All right. Oh, yeah, you're definitely way louder than me now that I'm looking at it. That's a good call, chat. I need a professional producer for these.
Here, do you want me to turn
shows.
my gain down a little bit more?
It's not a gain thing. It's just literally I have you, like you're just louder, and it's not a you thing. I can turn you down on Discord. There we go. Want to say some stuff for the people?
What's that?
Is that better, chat? I think that's better.
Test. Yeah, better.
All right. It's looking like you're at the same green area that I'm at.
Okay.
Liddy. All right. So Darius Garland is about the bulk of what I'm interested in here. And then this morning you talked about Moses Brown potentially being a rebound target. Are you still on these two?
All right. Yeah. Just real quick. I assume his minutes will still be around 25 to 30 if he stays out of foul trouble. I assumed he played 19 minutes against Philly because of Embiid taking 17 or making 17 free throws. So I assume he fouled out or is in foul trouble. But he still got 12 boards in that match. Because that was over the weekend. I that was Saturday. That was my day off. I missed that game.
For Moses Brown minutes.
Yeah.
We can go double check that. First, I guess we'll just go look at his game log here.
But yeah, I mean, even in limited minutes, he's
he had 4 fouls. I don't know. I think Kevin Love's in the mix for sure. I'll look at his direct minute rotation.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that wasn't due to the potential of like him getting
So
some weird
they
rotation.
they didn't close in the fourth quarter. They didn't use him at all. They used Isaac Okoro, Garland, Markkinen, Levert, and Lamar Stevens. And if we look back at that Knicks game, Moses Brown played a little bit in the fourth quarter. And then the game kind of got away. And then
Wait, so he doesn't play cleanup crew?
he didn't last game, but he has touched the court in fourth quarter last couple games.
Okay, so it
So
just
it might be a matchup specific thing.
yeah. So it's just really inconsistent. But I mean, we still gotta assume if he gets over 20 minutes in this matchup that he can get over 9.5 rebounds. Um, I mean, yeah, I mean that's what he's mainly good for is crashing the glass. So I still like it. And then Garland, I like a lot of his props. Like I said, I like that 3-point prop. Teams are just chucking on the Magic because they can. You don't have to worry. You play free, loose. And his fantasy score I like a lot since it's down. It went back down, to 42. It was all the way up to 46 at one point. Magic are gonna turn it over with these young guys playing off the bench, and he's gonna rack up assists and all that. So I might just throw a net over it all with this fantasy point.
Yo, Bradford, appreciate that follow. Big Daddy J says, now both are too low. Got my volume max. Can barely hear both. Bruh.
All right, turn back up.
No. Don't touch a thing, bro. Like when you
Are
play.
we getting trolled here?
I don't know. But like don't whenever there's issues, you don't touch nothing. Like I can adjust the volume.
All right.
Because when I adjust and then you adjust and then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, cool. But yeah, I think it could be a matchup thing. So if Moses Brown against Mo Bamba isn't necessary, or I don't know who the Magic even closed with lately. They have like 5 different lineups. With Schofield, that maybe Robin Lopez going to get some run. They closed with Mo Wagner last game and Mo Bamba. Yeah. It's risky. I guess the constant here is that his first half has been consistent. So, if Moses Brown first half props interest you, he's at 14 fantasy points, and he did not clear that against Embiid. That's understandable. And 21, 17, 16. We might be grasping for straws here.
Yeah. On a big slate, yeah.
All right, Rockets and Nets, 244.5 total, 17-point spread. Favor the Brooklyn Nets. Somebody asked, do we think this game could go over? Definitely think it could, but it's a 17-point spread. You might be seeing some prevent defense in the fourth quarter, some Kessler Edwards out there, and it could get really, really weird. So I don't think I would really get into overs on 240s and 250s, stuff like that. The spread's a different conversation. Even that's too big of a glass of water for me to sip on. So I just tend to pick on the props. And unlike the books, we get to pick on first half props here for the Nets. So I'm going to assume that we are still pretty privy to a lot of these Nets first half props that we were discussing earlier, and then that you discussed in the first look video. They have Kevin Durant, 26.5 fantasy score. That's cool. Kyrie Irving, 21 fantasy score. That's cool. But it seemed like you were most intrigued with the Andre Drummond first half point prop. He's at 18 fantasy points in the first half. He's matched that in 2 of his last 3. Are we getting taxed on that? With a 6-point prop. So 18 first half for Drummond versus Drummond full game at 33.
So 3 points.
We're getting a 3
That's
points.
a heavy tax.
It's the Houston Rockets, right?
Yeah. I bet it opened up around its full game half, but I'm sure people were clicking over on it and it juiced it. It's still live. I mean, I wouldn't let it deter you. I think he gets over 20 fantasy points in this first half run, if he gets his normal run.
Mm-hmm.
But I think sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna say a lot of stock potential, and we know Drummond can get blocks, but a lot of people don't give him the steal credit he deserves.
Right.
He averages over a steal per game, and this is a Rockets team giving up a top 3 amount of steals and blocks cumulatively per game. So a good spot for him to go nuts, go stupid.
Yeah, and same with Bruce Brown. I really like Bruce Brown's fantasy first half. It's not really taxed at all.
Hmm.
You're getting pretty much half of the full game, and they really missed him when he was out of the unit against the Hawks defensively, because he's been kind of a key defensive part of their defense. And you kind of saw when he was out that the Hawks could move the ball around, get Trey open for open shots. I think with Seth Curry being out, Dragic being out, I think that could even mean more minutes for Bruce Brown in the first half. And we've seen him have that steal upside, and this could not be a better game environment for him to get those steals. And we've seen him start off hot too, so I like that 15 first half.
All right, so I'm gonna type up German first half. Bruce Brown first half. We'll have to really sink our teeth in on the more. Obviously, with Bruce Brown, it's going to be. I think for both, it's going to be fantasy scores. So
Yeah, yeah, they just had that stock upside.
yeah, and then you mentioned on the injury report, Seth Curry, Goran Dragic, both listed as out. So a couple more things to look at for Kyrie. One is assist rate. His shot rate should go up. He did just come off a game where he took approximately 94 shots, give or take 30 to 50. Shot 32 shot attempts. Only made 12 of them, by the way, against Atlanta. A lot of Ramadan conspiracies out there. But because of that volume and the bulk of them, almost half of them being from behind the arc, you can kind of keep that in mind because the constant was what? No Seth Curry. So I do think top two in shot volume will be a constant tonight for Kyrie. And if you're going to be a guy that can flirt with upwards of 20, high 20s to 30 shot attempts against the Houston Rockets, I got to be interested. Looking at my player props tab right now for Kyrie, I got him for 53, almost 54 fantasy points, 28 real points, and almost 7 assists. I feel like I'm going to be aggressively higher than most of the Lions by PrizePicks. I got 45 fantasy points. I've got they've got 27 and a half real points, and I was looking at 28, so I'm a little bit on the over, not much. The assists, I'm a little bit on the over, but the 3-point made is the one I'm curious with. The Rockets run that super fast pace here and take it out a guy like Seth Curry, and Patty Mills has just not been Patty Mills lately. And it's sad because I like Patty Mills. But it's been rough to watch lately. I hope he snaps out of it. But Houston Rockets, up in the pace the way they do, a lot of teams just come back and chuck it, and I think Kyrie could do that. The pushback here is most of my projections, Josh, they're based on 40 minutes without Dragic, without Curry. Do we think Kyrie and KD get 40 minutes in a 17-point spread? Probably not. And are we going to? And this is not a yes or no, right or wrong answer question. I'm just generally curious in chat. You guys chime in. Do we really play like the whole Nets first half fantasy point props? Like, there's got to be an end somewhere.
Yeah,
Because we don't want to be 4 deep in first half Nets props, or do we? I mean, the T-Wolves were crushing it. So
well, that's why I think you mix it by going for props that aren't just first half but don't require a full game, and that's props like a 3-point prop. Because I think Kyrie can clear that in 2 quarters. I mean, he just makes 2 threes in the first quarter stint and 2 in the second quarter. If he's taking like 6 threes in the first half, 6 to 8 threes in the first half, which he easily could do, especially with Seth being out in the pace. I still think that's achievable in 3 quarters, the 3.5 3-point made. And I think another thing that's intriguing, maybe see what you think on this. So with the Ramadan thing and like not eating and he was sneaking snacks and because he was lethargic in that last game, he needed energy. What about his free throw prop? Is that too risky? Because if he is lacking energy and he's going to be lazy and he's just going to chuck it from 3, because I mean the Rockets foul so much. They're in the top 4 in free throws allowed, and we know Kyrie can draw fouls, and 4 just seems way too low for him. Even just if he has 3 quarters to do it.
yeah, I try not. So here's the thing. Yeah, Kyrie does practice and observe Ramadan, And in my mind, it's like, man, that's got to have an impact on a professional athlete to if they observe their fast all day and you know can't intake anything. Like, that's got to impact a professional athlete. But at the same time, Kyrie is not the only guy in the league doing this, and
Right.
he's just like the most notable. And you know, you look at last game, he wouldn't shy away from shots. So I don't want to try and quantify the unquantifiable without serious research to back it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, he
So
took zero free throws in that last game. Because I didn't watch the whole game, but I didn't
mhm,
seem really attacking in attack mode. So I don't know. That was my kind of my
mhm.
game theory
Yeah, I mean,
behind it.
and again, there's just not a sample size on that, right? So,
Right. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
uh, what about Kevin Durant? We haven't touched on him.
Yeah.
We know that Jayshawn Tate leads the league, I think, in fouls for 36.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a path to free throws for a guy like KD.
Yeah. Sure.
He has cleared this 7 in 2 of his last 3. Maybe there's something a little bit more attackable. His assist prop is 6.5. His point prop is 31.5. A lot of this feels like I'd feel better about these numbers if I knew we were getting 4
Yeah.
quarters. So
Oh yeah.
and we don't get any of those like exploitable like 3-point props like Kyrie's gonna give us. So I'm kind of like on the fence here. I don't have any warm and fuzzy clicks at the moment, especially on his
But
full
we
game
really
stuff.
want him though. We really want to unlock his because this is like perfect spot for him.
So
But yeah, I feel
another
you.
first half. Do we just
Yeah.
rotate Nets first half? Maybe
Yeah. I think
do we?
so.
Man, so 16 points for his first half prop. Definitely could see that becoming a problem. Maybe we just avoid overlap between KD and Kyrie in cards. But then again, like Kyrie, I don't think we're gonna end up on Kyrie points as much as we are him hitting 4 threes.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I-
No,
I'll
I
just
agree.
throw it all in the blender and I'll let you figure it out in the prop
Yeah.
protector. Kevin
Yeah.
Durant.
You're gonna have to make some risk with this game because you
Hmm.
want access, so you're gonna have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, I know the Nets are Nets have 2 of the baddest men on the planet playing basketball, but the last couple games for them, maybe not
Yep.
done. Not maybe they
Yep.
haven't accomplished what they should have.
Yeah. Durant says they're undisciplined and fouling too much, being lazy. So
Corey says, I think I'm at 4 cards with Brucey first half fantasy. Let's go. AO says, I feel like both teams have something to play for. Jalen and KBJ are the future of the Rockets, and are Jalen going to want to play spoiler? Maybe. I think Jalen Green,
chasing records.
yeah, this is more of the talking point here. Jalen Green, if you watched the first look video on this channel this morning, he is 4 games in a row of 30 real points.
Yep.
The last person to do that was Allen Iverson
As a rookie, yep.
as a rookie. Yeah, and Iverson's record is 6. There's 3 games left, so he could tie and then potentially break the record
Yep.
if that's something that is on his mind. I think what we've really come and discovered on Jalen Green is he's gonna take a billion threes. Last game he actually surprised us with just 8. He cleared his point prop and then settled down, but prior to that 14, 15. So he's chucking and he's still clearing that 30 real point threshold that benchmark. So you wonder if that is a goal coming into this game for him. And, you know, we could be creating a narrative here, but you got to believe he knows. He probably still checks his Twitter. And Jalen Green has a 25.5 point prop. So if he is pounding for 30, we could target that. He does not have a 3-point prop yet. On PrizePicks, we can reference OddsJam.com, check out the lines on this game and see what maybe the books have his 3-point prop at. I would assume it's either 3.5 or 4.5 at this point, but 3.5 seems more reasonable. And they have Jalen Green at 3.5. And right now there's a little bit of juice on the over, but it's essentially split even here. So maybe PrizePicks does add Jalen Green 3-point prop, and we can attack that here because it seems like if he's going to get to 30 real points, more often than not, he's going to shoot 4 plus or connect for 4 plus 3. So something to keep an eye on. So I do like, I guess for now, we'll jot down Jalen Green points. Does that seem fair? Full game points?
Yeah. I mean, it keeps getting juice. It keeps going up. I think it's gone up, what, one or two now since this morning. So, but I
Okay.
mean, it makes sense. I mean, this guy's confidence is sky high right now. He's on Twitter just going at it, calling himself saying, "I'm a bucket." I just need to stay confident, and he's aware of the record. He knows. So, yeah. Um, I mean, the volume's gonna be there for sure. And now, on one more guy on the Rocket side, if you let's say you roll the dice and you play some full game Nets props, then you probably want to play guys like not only Jalen Green, full game props, but Sengun would be a big reason why the game is close. He's the one who helped also keep that T-Wolves game close, that most recent game. And yeah, I mean, he can crush the glass, he can get assists, he's involved with playmaking in the offense, and he can score. So I think his PRA is in play. It's only 27.5, and it looks like it has not moved. So that would be something to consider if you wanted to run it back.
Yeah, I have. The Shingun had one block, two blocks. So I was gonna say I have a pretty decent gap on Shingun's fantasy point prop in my
Okay.
projections. Right now I got him at 44 PrizePicks points, and he's listed at 36. So I'm getting a decent gap there. And then just out of curiosity, what's the PRA line for the public on? I imagine it is 1-to-1. So I'm more so interested in if there's any sharp vig one way or the
Yeah, I
other.
mean, he since he tries to be like a baby Jokic and pass it and distribute, he will turn the ball over at a decent rate. So that's just something to think about.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like 27.5 is the universal line. So keep an eye on that. I don't
Yep.
mind. I don't mind any of these numbers for him, and that's pretty much it. KBJ's favorite prop, 7.5 assists.
Maybe.
Looking at KBJ, I'll say let's just look at KBJ's overall numbers in the last maybe week. I want to say month. We'll go since the beginning of March. Let's just go since the All Star break. And then we'll take Christian Wood off the court. We'll put KPJ and Jalen Green on.
Yeah, but now you got Josh Christopher running with him for 30 minutes, and he's a ball hog too.
Don't you love it?
You got three ball hogs.
All right. I mean I'm very interested. I don't say very. I'm still intrigued with the assist prop on KPJ. Just
Sure.
in general, Porter Green on, Wood off. KPJ's assist rate is 34%. If we take off, I don't know, Gordon and Schroeder, I gotta imagine it's gonna stay above 30%. Is volume lower than normal today, bro? I'm chat's trolling me. So many of you guys say it's fine, many of you guys say it's not. I'm at a loss. So it stays at over 30%. So I think it's live. We don't have to
Sure.
force it, but it's live. I'll put it in the
It
bottom.
was a sweat last game. That was for sure. It came at like the last second.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely there. I agree with you.
All right. We'll jot that in there. Brrr, Miami Heat. That's hosting the Charlotte Hornets. I don't think we have news for the Heat yet. But if we did lose Lowry and PJ Tucker to an extent, but if we lose Lowry, we'd certainly be looking at some Jimmy Butler props. I don't think we need to stop on this game. The
No.
Hornets, Gordon Hayward's back in the mix, so that
Yep.
whole rotation, other than like some Aaron Shots and LaMelo and Terry Rozier, I probably don't get much access from the prop betting world here. So we'll just be looking for Jimmy Butler stuff, right?
Yep.
All right. Hawks and the Raptors. OG Anunoby has a Q tag on him. Bogdanovich, Gallinari, Q tag. Sean Collins out. Trae Young. In the Hawks, we look at that Eastern Conference. The Hawks have the 8 seed, 2 games back from the Cavs, 1 game above the Hornets, 1 game above the Nets. So they really just are trying not to go backwards here. And I'm assuming the way it works is they would have home court advantage in the play-in. So they would like to win. The Raptors are 3 games back from the Sixers. Unlikely that the Raptors catapult to a top 4 spot to get home court advantage. So I think the more incentivized team here from a mathematical standpoint is probably the Hawks, preventing themselves from going backwards. Uphill battle, but just a 4-point spread. Trae Young in a tight game, certainly something I'm intrigued by. What are you thinking? Trae Young has an assist prop of 10.5, a 29.5 real point line. Nothing here that's super sexy, but 3.5 3-point prop. That could be something that we take a look at. Something that he's hooked in the right way in all but one of his last 5 games. Look at that team metrics chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Toronto is about league average in giving up the 3 ball, but they're also one of those funnel defenses where they are top 8 in restricting points in the paint. So something to look out for Trae Young there. And then you mentioned that Nick Nurse has shown a history of trapping the other team's best scorer.
Yep.
And maybe that would be a plus for Trae Young's assist here. But 10.5, we're paying a premium here, so I probably don't get to coring that on a slate this big. So do we just stay away from now?
From Hawks?
Yeah, well, from the game, but what do you got on the Raptors?
No, I mean, it's the Hawks, right? Fam, come on.
Fam, it's the Hawks.
It's the Hawks, man. They just bleed points. And Van Vliet is notoriously torches the Hawks, and it's ridiculous. I thought for sure, because I didn't have the fantasy props up last night when I was researching, I thought for sure it'd be like 39, 40 at least, and his fantasy score is 36. I mean, that's just too low in my opinion. The only way I can see him not having an efficient night would be if Nick Nurse does, instead of running the box and one or trap, what he'll tend to do is Van Vliet will be the on-ball defender for the entire night, and that eats up a lot of his energy. But it does increase his chances of getting stocks. I mean, he's been like number 1 in deflections over the last 3 years in the league, and always top 5 in steals. So, and Trae's not immune to turning the ball over either. I mean, the Hawks' backcourt defense is just so bad, and Van Vliet, if he can just pick up some stocks with his defense and and pick up his scoring, I really like this spot for him. And his assist prop too, I mentioned, it's really high against the Hawks, and if OG is back, that helps him with his wing presence. But I think I'm really liking this 36 fantasy point a lot.
Okay, I can get behind that. Looking at the live chat, shout out to you guys. Our boy Parker Douglas says, do you like Gary Trent blocks and steals over 1.5 or Siakam? So Gary Trent averages almost 2 steals a game right now, and a little bit on the block centric side. So if you like a small sweat but a fun sweat, I don't hate that look. Especially a guy like Trae Young, who will sometimes try and force it. High assist numbers usually correlate with high turnover numbers. And Siakam and Gary Trent are actually the only 2 blocks and steals props at the moment. Gary Trent and Siakam both being at 1.5. Both these guys have shown you that they are very much so live to clear that. If you had to choose one or the other, I guess it's the question to sweat. Siakam or Trent?
They juiced it already by 2. Wow.
Juiced what?
Okay. Van Vliet. It went from 36 to 38.
Oh, okay. Way to answer the question, Josh.
If I would choose for points, real points.
No, for blocks and steals over 1.5. Siakam or Trent?
Ooh, I'm gonna go Trent.
Okay, it's close for me.
And it's close. I mean, all these Raptors guys are live for turnovers. And yeah,
All right. What else we got? We got T-Wolves hosting the Wizards. T-Wolves being one of the faster-paced teams in all of basketball. We did get a midday questionable on Patrick Beverley. If we go pull up the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, he went from probable to actually questionable.
All right, left ankle sprain. Originally left off the injury report, but it's been added as questionable. He did miss that last game. So a couple things happen in my attack when Patrick Beverley misses. First and foremost, I almost always go straight to D'Angelo Russell assist prop. Now, we did have to sweat, Josh, But
We did.
if we didn't watch the game, we wouldn't even thought it was close because he finished with like
Yeah.
9, right?
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but no. If you watch the game, it was a full
Yeah,
on sweat
yeah.
because
Like he
everyone
didn't
was
hit it
passing.
until the 100%. But he got there. So if you want to watch the game and sweat, maybe stay away. But if you want to take advantage of Patrick Beverley potentially being out and take a little bit of a gamble here, look at D-Russ assists. I'll go ahead and I'll do a query via the Add More Funds tool to put an aesthetic behind what I'm about to tout. Right? We don't just pull numbers out of nowhere. Some of y'all do. Russell, we'll put D. Russell on the court, Beverly off the court, just straight up, nothing else, no Cat, no Edwards. It only increases. But D. Russ on the court, Beverly off the court. D. Russ has a 33% assist rate. And just to show you I'm not lying, if I put Cat on the court and I put Anthony Edwards on the court, and this is since the All-Star break, it stays pretty high. It's 27%. It goes down to 27% once you put Edwards on the court, but it stays over 30 with Cat. That's pretty live. And then if you want to really just be results oriented, D'Angelo Russell assist by game log without Patrick Beverly let's go last 15 games on him. Who you know typing like me out here? What? So the line is 6.5, mind you. He has cleared that in all but 2 of his last 15 games without Beverly, with the 5 being in just 20 minutes against Golden State. Probably going to play more than 20 minutes. And then there's a pure outlier against Portland. So it has been one of my favorite lines to look at. I understand if you want to wait for official Beverly news, that's fine. But look out for that. It is a 12.5 point spread. Leaves the door open for a blowout. The Wizards give us Kristaps Porzingis, and Porzingis is going against a guy who is top 3 in fouls per 36 in Karl-Anthony Towns, and centers have been the path of most success against the T-Wolves from a fantasy standpoint lately. So, Josh, what's our favorite line to target for Kristaps?
Oh man, he has a lot of good ones. A lot of good ones. So they juiced all of them too, of course. His point prop is in play. Cat, he's been getting burned. His assist prop did open at 2.5. I really like that. But at 3, it could still be considered. He is, running they are running the offense through him as a centerpiece. So the assist potential is definitely there. And yeah, his free throw prop 6. I like that, especially against Cat, like you said. His fantasy score is not too off from your fantasy projection, so I'll probably stay away from that, even though he has that block upside. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. And, the pushback for this one being the Wizards are dead and stinking, right? They're not going to go to the postseason. So any point now, if we look up and we're only getting 28 minutes out of Porzingis because he has been injury prone and they want to keep him on ice for the future. That wouldn't be a crazy thing. So even then, if we maybe looked at first half props too, I wouldn't hate you. And then our other favorite gem on the Wizards has been Tomas Satoransky assists. They have not put an assist. Oh wait, no, that's Kispert. I'm racist. All white basketball players are not the same person. Satoransky's at 7 assists. Sure. I mean, right now we're pushing. More than likely, that'll get to 7.5 throughout the day. If we go reference the PrizePicks, the OddsJam lines that they have up for this game, and check out what the books are offering for Wizards and the T-Wolves. Satoransky assist. We'll see if it gets above. Above 7. So looking straight up for assist. I'm so freaking thankful. By the way, they have added the second taco voting on Twitter. We'll talk about that in just a second. But the books have Satoransky at 6.5. And we're actually getting plus money on the books and negative money on the under of 6.5. So for PrizePicks to have it at 7, maybe look out for that number to change. Because if it followed the trend of the public, it should go down. But it's at 7. So, yeah. All right. Who would you like a discount on? Chat, Josh, CJ McCollum, Devin Booker, Brandon Ingram, or Chris Paul?
Oh, Brandon Ingram.
We'll vote for it. Brandon Ingram is in last place.
Perfect.
Yep. CJ McCollum, number 1. Devin Booker number 2, Chris Paul. Is Devin Booker for sure playing?
Yeah, we don't even know. He could eat, especially with LeBron news. They could easily rest him again.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason they're running Chris Paul is because he needs conditioning, and same with Cam Johnson. Like he's been out, so they want to get them reconditioned.
All right. Well, shout out to the PrizePicks voting public for never getting it wrong ever. You know what never gets it wrong? A premium pass at RunDFS.com, man. If you guys are listening, you're like, man, they're doing a lot of research and a lot of thoughts, man. What gets tightened up as we get to lock? Well, you guys can get access to the final product, the polished prop detector that Josh works on throughout the day, throughout the pre-lock voice chat, all that stuff. And you also get access to my projections, my DFS player pool, and then we have NASCAR, and we're going to have baseball in a couple days as well. Usually every day before lock, I'm in the pre-lock voice chat in the premium Discord for the 2 hours prior. Today, I'm actually only going to be able to do 1 hour, and then we'll jump on the Osmo live before lock. And actually, I think that's today and tomorrow. But I will still have at least an hour of voice chat with you guys. And then I'll still have my spreadsheet updating my projections and stuff while we're doing the Osmo live before lock. By the way, if you guys are just here for prop betting, definitely check out the Osmo live before lock as well, because there's a lot of actionable information as it pertains to prop bettings, even though it's more of a DFS centric show. So check that out. But yeah, get a VIP pass and get in the Discord. And then if you don't want to open up your wallet, but you want to keep the conversation going, we have a free Discord, 100% completely free. Link in the description below. Click on it. And I woke up today and I looked at my phone and the alerts, man. Shout out to Kabloom. That's Corey in the chat. I mean, my man is out here doing the research, my man, and we got very back and forth discussions going on. So if you are high vibes and you want to see each other be great, I definitely invite you guys to come be part of the free Discord. It's all about the vibes, though. Don't come in with that toxic masculinity gambler mentality, man. We just want to see each other be great. If that's you, bring it to what else we got in live chat before we move on? It was at 6.5 earlier. So you're telling me they had 6.5 for Sato. The public's on the under, but they went back to the 7. I guess they're balancing their own book. Maybe the bulk of the PrizePicks action is on the over for Sato. Porzingis over 1.5 threes. Last I looked, I can get behind that. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I mean teams will shoot a lot of threes on T-Wolves too.
All right. Well,
like I said, I mean I like Porzingis in matchup. As long as we don't see him sit the entire fourth again, which could happen.
All right, and I'm gonna jot down Sato assists. I'm hoping it'll go back down to 6.5. I don't care about the public money. Public don't know. We know.
Wait, you think people are gonna start clicking under?
Well, the vig in Vegas is on the under.
Yeah.
Under 6.5. And
yeah, that's weird.
PrizePicks moved it from 6.5 to 7. So
yeah,
if people start,
that's odd.
Yeah. Anyway, Blazers at the Thunder. Yikes.
Main event.
Yikes. I don't know how you do this, but take it away. Blazers at the Thunder. Looking at the Blazer side, Drew Eubanks has a 10.5 rebound prop, 14.5 point prop, no double-double, 33 fantasy point prop. I'm at 42, so I could offer a Eubanks fantasy projection over, and then they have Craig Brown, Keon Johnson, bro. Like this, you're sick. You know that you're freaking sick, bro. I'll take Drew Eubanks over fantasy. You take it from there.
That is an awesome like free square. I feel like, and yeah, so. The other Blazers guys, I mean, with Brandon Williams questionable now, he's a midday questionable, I believe. That could, I don't know. I mean, like, does it open the door for Dunn to get more minutes, or are they just kind of like capped him? Like, they know what they have in him, and they're just gonna play him 25 minutes.
Did he sign? I know he was on a bunch of 10 days. Did he officially sign?
Who, Dunn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he signed till the end of the season with that special.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Then in that case, like it doesn't matter. You just they're just trying to fill minutes, bro. They're not trying to do anything but This
Well, I
ain't
mean,
necessarily their future.
Yeah, well, I mean, Brandon Williams was eating up a lot of minutes and usage. So if he's out with that midday Q tag, I would like Chris Dunn even more. I was already looking at his assists props to drop.
Yeah.
And then yeah, more shots for McLemore when he comes in, and he's already gonna chuck it. So look out for his point props. And yeah, I mean, Keon Johnson, Greg Brown is very similar kind of guys. Their ceiling is going to be kind of maxed out with the minutes that they're getting, which is pretty low, around 20, 25. And yeah, they're going to live from the three ball. But guys I can rely on are definitely Eubanks, fantasy score. And yeah, I guess now Chris Dunn with this Brandon Williams news. But I like the Thunder side more. I really wanted my favorite prop would have been Poku's assist prop, and they still have not given it to us yet. I think the books even opened it at 5.5, which is just insane. I mean, this guy, if you watch the games, he's Josh Giddey, man, if even better.
He was here before Giddy. Relax. I heard that this morning. By the way, if we lose Brandon Williams, and this may not develop, well, it's only an 8 p.m. game. If we lose Brandon Williams, you think Chris Dunn under 8 assists would be your favorite? Like, if I'm assuming it would be like 6.5, 7.
Well, yeah, it would be right there with Eubanks, neck and neck for like top core plays for sure.
All right, Chris Dunn assist. We'll jot that down and keep that in the notes.
No, the reason I said it is like they're very similar style, where like they are these big guards who I don't know, their style and the way they move and cut, they can find the open guy. They're really good at passing, and he's good at rebounding too. So I guess if we don't get his assist prop, which would really stink, I would go for his I guess his PRA, because he does turn the ball over a lot since he is trying to force balls and distribute it.
Yeah.
So I think I would if we don't get the assist prop, then my top prop would be 30.5 PRA, and then I would look for Roby's fantasy score. What do you have him projected for?
I have Roby at 38. By the way, I have Paku at 43. Don't forget, they signed Jalen Horde off the street, and he's the best ever.
Best rebounder, right?
Apparently.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think fantasy score for Roby, but you can also consider his point prop. He's gonna chuck it from 3. He was really efficient last time around in this matchup. It's a great spot for him. And then guys like, man, Vit. Coachia, can you get on him? 10.5 points. I mean, I think he's logging the second most minutes for them. So
I mean, I have him at 28, which is 3 points over, but it's not a big enough gap. Like you're sick. You're literally sick. And the other thing is sick is like this 222 total, because sometimes you look up and they're like, who's trying to lose more? But at this point, it's like I don't know what the lottery standings is. Like, are we locked into like the Magic yet or what? This is rough. Let's see, 20.
I think the Magic and the
standings. I don't know.
And Thunder are still fighting for it.
Oh, so the Thunder should lose and not score 110 is what you're saying? This is just mock draft. Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, you're not feeling the Thunder? You don't want that Thunder?
I just don't want to get screwed by coaches' rotations on teams that are like that are literally more. They're better off losing, especially the Thunder. The Thunder have.
I'm with you, but you could play all these guys max minutes and they're still going to lose no matter what.
I guess the Blazers they're favored. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Maybe I got tinfoil hat on here, but they especially the Thunder, as many picks as they got, like, they want to lose. So if they get a phone call in the middle of the game and hey, put in the water boy.
But, I mean, what if you look at this draft class this year? There's not a consensus number 1 yet.
Hey,
and
I don't know or care about. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
We've seen some funky stuff. With that said, we've also seen a pretty short bench for the Thunder. So, like, I don't want to overthink it. I'm always just, what do the projections say? Well, the projections like Paku. They slightly like Vic Krejci. And then for Teo Maledon, they're at 32 fantasy points on Teo. I'm at 36. So, like, I'm not even getting, like, massive differential.
Yeah.
even though it's a 2-2-2 total. But I'm gonna let you take the
yeah.
the driver's wheel, and I'm gonna curse you out later.
Okay. I'll go down in flames with this one. One last time for this matchup, man. I'm gonna rank it like this. I'm gonna go Poku assists if it drops, and especially if it's 5.5. Number one, and
Okay.
then Roby fantasy number two, and then number three would be Maladon PRA 27.5.
Okay.
I'll leave it like that.
Easy does it. Hey, as Scott Hall said, you said it, not me. Ooh, all right. Bucks at the Bulls. Levine, midday Q. He's played through a couple of those. DeRozan is the taco. If we lost Levine and DeRozan played. Matter of fact, I feel like last time played, was Levine out the last, or one of these games and the Bucks smoked them? Or was it DeRozan? Somebody was out.
Yeah.
Just a 6-point spread this time. Milwaukee's been certainly the of the better half of the spread in the last couple outings. I do have Giannis with a tag. I'm gonna get caught up on that one, so we know for sure Giannis is probable. So a full strength Bucks team against maybe no Levine Bulls. If Levine does play, by the way, I wouldn't let that shoo me away from his props because, like I said, we have seen Levine play through a Q tag. And one of the lines that made the most sense for Levine here was the 3-point prop. So Levine's 3-point prop is not on the board, but I imagine it would be about 2.5. So if that comes back to us, I would take that. And then we are getting a DeRozan taco, even though I'm looking at 27.5 points. His taco was, 24.5, something like that, which would only become more stable if Levine is out. Anything on the Bucks you want to get behind? Giannis, anything? Nothing?
Giannis is always live, right, for his fantasy and real points. But I think if you don't want to sweat something, well, this is pretty still high. I think it's 12.5, but it's 12.5 rebounds. He's been crushing the Bulls on the glass, and yeah, I mean, I get behind it.
All right. Nuggets holds the Spurs. Spurs will be without DeJounte and Jock Landale. We've talked about how that opened up perhaps more responsibility, like someone's going to pick up the slack if they're going to stay competitive for a guy like Jakob Poeltl. I do have some concerns about him matching up with Jokic for foul trouble. Keldon Johnson is very intriguing to me in that split. And then Trey Jones is also going to look like somebody I'm going to get to a lot on fantasy. The Spurs, if we look at that Western Conference play-in, the scenario is this. If the Spurs win and the Lakers lose, the Lakers are eliminated. If the Spurs lose, which is very possible without DeJounte at Denver, and the Lakers win, the Lakers would still be live, right? So something to keep an eye on as the Spurs are 8.5-point road dogs here. So LeBron not playing tonight. He might be wearing his Jokic jersey on the sideline. I don't know. What are we thinking from this one, if anything? I'm thinking there's going to be at least some value from the Spurs. Keldon Johnson, he has a 36 fantasy point projection. I have him at 37, so that's way too close. 2.5 threes is intriguing to me. Trey Jones is at 7.5 assists. 7 and 9 his last two outings here without DeJounte. That's an intriguing number. 22.5 PRA seems really nice. And the fantasy point prop for Trey Jones is 30. I have him for 28. So it looks like the PRA is at least the most intriguing click. What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, okay, fantasy, I'm all the way in because so you have him projected for 25 minutes, but in all the games that when DeJounte is out, he will play 35,
Yeah, I was
35 to
thinking
36 minutes, and he's averaging over a stock per game with DeJounte out. I mean, this guy is a stock magnet, and he has a 30% assist rate with DeJounte out this season. So I mean, you could definitely get on his 7 assists, but if he plays the 35 plus minutes like he should. I think not only will he be the chalk DFS play of the day at this crazy price tags he's at, I think his fantasy point will be a core prop play today.
All right, I can totally get down with that. And then anytime that the Nuggets are implied to score 120,
yes,
we should probably think about Mr. Jokic, who a couple games left in his MVP campaign.
And does he reach that record? Was he need like 72 points?
Ooh. I have him
He
for
should be able to get that. That's like what is that? He has three more games, so it's 24 points a game. That's under his season average. So,
all right. So whenever I compare my fantasy lines to PrizePicks, I always look for like a 5 point or greater margin of difference.
Uh-huh.
Well, they have Jokic at 62. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna have a 5 point difference, right? I have him at 68. Gosh dang. Are we gonna sweat 70 fantasy points for Nikola Jokic here? Something that he has cleared in all 5 of his last couple games, and on the season, the matchups do not get much more fruitful and lucrative DFS wise than the San Antonio Spurs. As on the season, the Spurs give up the 5th most fantasy points per game to opposing bigs. Oh, by the way, he's Nikola Jokic. Who cares about DVP? You want to sweat fantasy points, and then 62 is the full game. What is the first half, Jokic? Jokic is 31. So you're not getting taxed first half on Jokic. What are you thinking?
I mean,
He's actually not hit the first half consistently, but he has hit the full game pretty consistently.
yeah, I think I'm just gonna go the full game. Matchup's too good. He could be chasing this record, which is a crazy record. He'd be the only player in NBA history to do this. So I'm gonna ride it. He's just playing at a high level right now. I think he closes strong. So yeah, give me the 62 fantasy point.
Red light, green light, chat.
What do you think about Monty Morris? 4.5 assists. I don't know what's going on. What's up with this assist spike rate? I need to go back and look at the data. I need to figure it out why, but he is getting more involved with the passing game.
Well, I'll say this. The Lakers, the Timberwolves, the Pacers, the Hornets, the Thunder might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
And with that said, the Spurs, bottom 5 in defensive efficiency.
And fast-paced team too, so it sets up nicely again if that trend holds. So
1 assist in the first quarter last game, 2 assists in the second quarter. So he had 3 at half, then 2 assists in the third quarter, and that was almost all of these are with Jokic. And then in the fourth quarter, playing the entire game, 5 assists in the fourth quarter of that Lakers game. Half of that fourth quarter run came without Jokic, so he'd have to really assist, miss. It looks like most of those assists came without Jokic, I would say probably at least 3 of those came without Jokic in that last game. So, but that doesn't mean like he won't get fourth quarter run opposite Jokic again. So, something to keep an eye on for sure. Let's see. All right, Jazz and the Grizzlies. Grizzlies without Ja Morant are literally the greatest defense of all time. Just stop questioning it. There's 22 games sample size. This is it's ridiculous. The Jazz, the Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert stat floated around, went viral this past weekend. If you guys somehow missed it, the stat is he's averaging less than 3 passes a game to Gobert, not assists, 3 passes. It's closer to 2, mind you. And that's finally picking up some steam. We've kind of known that there's been some tension between the two. Gobert gave Mitchell and the NBA COVID, but it was definitely something that hit the rounds. Maybe Mitchell and Gobert and management sit down. Quinn Snyder's like, all right, you got to start passing the ball. They're on to you. But I think for the most part, I'm staying away from this game. Are you staying away from this game?
Yeah, I skipped it in the first look video because I'm just tired of these Grizzlies blowing teams out.
Dude,
and playing guys in that game and your props are ruined because of these blowouts that they're involved
in. It's literally insane. Like it's and I don't obviously I think John Morant's one of the best and he's the most fun player on the planet to watch, but it's truly incredible what they're doing without him. Pelicans at the Kings. We have JVal probable now. So we were intrigued with Ingram's rebounds earlier, but now we can lean more so to not so much. On the Kings side, Davion Mitchell's been playing super deep minutes. Damian Jones also in their front court, some deep minutes there. Real quick, mind you, we only have 2 games left and we're supposed to be off the air, but we'll try and finish here. So Kings and Pelicans, what are you liking? And then we'll talk about Lakers and Suns. If anything, Lakers ruling out LeBron after we went live, so our projections need to be adjusted.
Yeah, I'm nervous about this Pelicans now with JVal being probable and having a sore ankle. Like, is the ankle really sore? Is he going to play limited run, especially against a team like the Kings, who are on the way out, looking ahead for vacation. I I I don't know. So that makes me worry about him. But I mean, it's a great spot for Ingram. I feel like he could fill the stat line against this weak interior um, defense of the Kings. So I'm still gonna maybe consider his fantasy point prop for Ingram. And then for the Kings, they juiced Davion's assist prop to 8. I might lay off for now. And Damian Jones, his point prop is still, I think, at around less than 15. I could get on that maybe, but more as a mid tier. I'm just not I'm not keen on this game yet, and I'll probably load up on it later in the night.
Okay, and for a little context here, the Pelicans are not going to get into that. They're not going to go up in standings, but they are one game above the Spurs, who are dogs today.
Yeah.
They play today against a very beatable Kings, and then next up are the Pelicans on Thursday. So both those games, I think they only need to win one, and they're pretty much set where they are. And then the Pelicans at Grizzlies closes their season. So if they win today, we might start seeing some rotating rest, or or vice versa, they can still beat the Blazers. Both teams should be pretty easy dubs. So something to keep an eye on. And then Suns and Lakers. We don't have anybody on the injury report for the Suns. We did see them rest quite a few starters in that Thunder game: Jay Crowder, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. But Chris Paul played, and it looked like they were really trying to make sure Chris Paul's gas tank is as big as it can be going into the playoffs. And they'll be up against the Lakers. Lakers rolled out LeBron James towards the beginning of this stream, so I didn't get to adjust my projections. I still have a double-digit point spread here. Suns could eliminate the Lakers if the Spurs win their game at Denver. Mind you, they are massive dogs. However, Chris Paul could do LeBron a favor if he wants to rest everybody and maybe keep that push alive. But this feels like a game right now from this far out. If the Suns are fully healthy and the Lakers are Westbrook and AD, like, you could talk me into some AD stuff, some Westbrook stuff, but there's probably not a super comfortable click on the Suns. Maybe something Chris Paul assist if they slept and gave us a Chris Paul double prop, something like that. Right now we don't have anything Chris Paul. What's that about? It's just Devin. Oh no, we do. Chris Paul 10.5 assists is his prop right now. 14.5 real points, and then on the Lakers side, we don't have props for them yet. So I would probably say look for AD. I think AD is probably the most unguardable man on the planet if he's healthy. And I'd probably get towards a north of a 50 fantasy point projection. So that's what I'd be looking for, but nothing warm and fuzzy from this far out. Do you agree?
Yes.
All right. So with that said, let's quickly recap the notes that I have. We'll cross-reference to what you have. Chat, be sure you guys are in the free Discord in the link in the description below. My bad, I'm blowing them eardrums just now. But here's what I jotted down from our conversation here. By the way, chat, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you're sub, man. Bring them vibes. We're going to be right back with another show following this one. Josh going to be with me, keeping an eye on the prop lines. But I have Kyrie Irving threes, Halliburton assist. I wrote shop Embiid lines because we didn't have a top line. Harden fantasy points. Maybe look at first half. Kevin Durant, something. Jalen Green points. I would like for them to add the 3-point prop. Wrote down Drummond first half. Bruce Brown first half. Kevin Porter assist. Maybe Porzingis over 1.5 threes. Maybe Sato assist. Eubanks fantasy. Sounds like this one might be one of our top plays. Yeah. And then look for Chris Dunn assist if Brandon Williams does get ruled out. Will logistically open up those minutes for a guy like Chris Dunn to wrap up the season as a point guard with big minutes here. So I gotta be honest, man. For a big slate, this list come out a little bit different. What did I miss that maybe you jotted down? Because I do feel like I missed quite a bit.
Yeah, Roby fantasy point, Poku assist if it drops, and if not, his PRA. Jokic fantasy, and then Trey Jones fantasy.
All right. Hey, shout out to OddsJam sponsoring the show. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with the DFS show. We're going to be looking at every game with a FanDuel and DraftKings salary price point. involved in the conversation. We're going to bring in Raj. We're going to keep Josh. Josh is going to keep an eye on the props as they roll out, as news drops. So definitely worth having us on in the background, if nothing else. But if you are out of here, I love you. I hope you crush it tonight. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money. But definitely stay. Definitely stay and don't go nowhere. Because
Levine.
Levine got ruled out?
Yep.
All right, DeRozan, Taco, everything. Boom. Also Vucevic.
Yes.
So we're going to move into a group chat, and that'll get Raj.
All right.